guest speaker is here, and we are super excited to have him here today. And so we have Marc Langley, and he is here to share about a fantastic program that he has, and it's the NPS DDP, and it's a drone donation program. And he has been all across the United States. I have seen where he has traveled and done phenomenal things with this program. And I think he has a little bit more to share as well. So I'm going to turn this over to him and let him share. Thank you, Marc, for joining us. I'm going to make
Thank you, Marc.
Well, thank you for having us here. And I just want to say the people that are doing great work out there are the public safety folks that risk their lives for us day in and day out. I was kind of surprised to learn that about 73% of all fire departments in this country are 100% volunteer. That's one of the reasons we started this program, because they need these tools. They help save lives. NPS DDP stands for National Public Safety Drone Donation Program. Kind of been reprimanded a few times for the length of the name, but hey, the world's full of acronyms, so I figure we'll throw an acronym on there. Do you have any questions, Desi?
Well, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about how it got started, how
Sure.
long you've been operating, and maybe we'll deep dive a little bit into your goals.
Okay, excellent. I own a company called Airborne Works. I was probably one of the about in the 700 range of pilots when the 107 came out. So I'm kind of early in the game. And one of the things we wanted to do was find out where we wanted to work and where we wanted to focus our attention, because there's so many different directions you can go in this industry, right? And so we focused on public safety because I got a huge amount of admiration for these folks. And so I became a FLIR dealer, started dealing Leica software, Leica hardware and software. And the first thing that we noticed when we went to these departments to try to sell them hardware, introduce them to the technology, was this stuff's so expensive. We can't afford it. And of course, if 73% of all departments I'm calling on are 100% volunteer, they're pretty much buying their hardware with bingo nights and bake sales, right? So it's a tough sell. They don't have big budgets like police do. Police obviously got a bigger budget because of the criminal component. So we went to some of the manufacturers that we dealt with, FLIR, Leica, and we asked them for help. We asked them for allowing us to sell at a discount. Some of the drone manufacturers too, I'll leave them unnamed, I will not name them, but they would not budge on their pricing. So, I tried to make the argument these folks need these tools, these things are going to save lives, and we just didn't get the support we needed. So, Desi, what I ended up doing was one night lying in bed, just realized that maybe a nonprofit would be the way to go. So we ended up investigating that, and I think it was 2018 Interdrone. We kind of introduced the concept to a lot of people. Everybody I met asked them if they thought it was a good idea. And one of the people that I ended up sitting next to, who I did not know who she was, I got chatting with her, was Marion McNabb from Drone Life magazine. And I told her the idea. She thought it was a great idea. And then she told me who she was. And I asked her if she'd be kind enough to promote our foundation and do a story on it if, we applied for a 501c3. And she enthusiastically said yes. So that was our first introduction to, getting our foundation introduced. We received our 501c3 approval from the IRS back in April of last year. So we're kind of new foundation, and we're just really enjoying helping public safety. It's really a gratifying feeling to give grown men and women toys. It's life-saving toys, that will help them to do their job safer and more efficiently. So that's how we got going.
So can you share maybe some of your most exciting stories of how
Absolutely. One of the most exciting just happened. I was out in New Mexico. Okay, let me just take a step back. Since we've been growing as a foundation, we've garnered the support of some major companies: Fox Fury Lighting, Skybrowse, Locate, Darley Company is one of our partners. In fact, we're going to be donating a drone at the FDIC in a couple of weeks, donated by Darley. So if you're there, stop and see us. We'll have a booth there. Um, but we had a donation of software given to the Navajo Nation out in New Mexico. They have a search and rescue operation out there, and they had just received a drone from a coal company that had funded half of the drone for them, and they came up with the other half. And Tony Langley over at Locate said, "Mark, contact them. We want to get them a donation to Locate." So I was out there. We made the donation. It went very well, and he shared with me some interesting stories. One of them kind of really speaks to the value of drones. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the desert that get lost, go hiking, they get disoriented or get hurt, and you got to go out there and find them. One such case was a man who had dementia, and he went wandering, and he had been gone 3 days. They went out on horseback, sent helicopters out looking for this man. They couldn't find him. 4 days gone, they can't find him. And Eric had his new thermal imaging drone, so he says that this man's still alive. We're going to go out at night after the temperatures drop in the desert, and if he's got heat in his body, we're going to try to pick him out, aside from the animals that would be out there, the creatures. So he was on his second battery, and the drone went into return home mode. And of course, he's looking over land looking for this man. And when it came to return home, as we all know, these drones are pretty smart. They'll go up and they start heading towards where the controller is. And it went over a body of water, and as the camera was looking down, he saw a beacon of light in the water, and he says, he didn't know what it was. He couldn't go down and investigate it because he had very little battery life. He got the drone back, put a fresh battery in, flew out there, went out, and he went down in there, and sure enough, it's a guy standing up to his waist in water. And of course, the guy's probably wondering what this thing in front of him is buzzing. He's got dementia, 1, 2, he's been out there 5 days, no food, no water, probably a lot of exposure to the sun, very bad shape. So they got the drone back. They drove all the way out there. Took them about an hour or so to get out there. Had to go out and do a water rescue. The man needed some serious medical attention, very close to losing his life. And so they interviewed him afterward and asked him why he was in the water, just standing in the water. He says the coyotes were trying to kill him. So he went in, he had the wherewithal to go in the water and, avoid the coyotes. That would have, obviously, he would have met his demise had he not done that. So that speaks to the, one of the cases. And then 3 days after they got their drone, the little girl got lost. And the same day they went out looking for her, and this little girl, for whatever reason, went crawling into a culvert, a circular culvert. She got stuck in there. And they saw her little legs sticking out, and they saved the kid's life. So, we had another donation. Autel donated some drones to us, and Rio Grande border. This is an interesting story. 48 hours, the sheriff's department, we donated to Starr County Sheriff's Department. And Jeff Powell met us down there. We had a nice TV crew come out, and they did a nice story on it. 48 hours after they had that drone in their possession, they apprehended a guy who had a pretty bad rap sheet. And in Texas, if you know anything about the high bush out there, it can be your friend or your foe. If you're trying to avoid somebody, it's your buddy, it's your friend because you can run and hide. But if you're trying to find your way back, it could be, it could cost you your life because you get disoriented, you don't know where you are. So this guy went darting out, and 48 hours after they had this drone, of course, they could see where he's running. They directed the deputies, and they nabbed the guy. He had warrants for his arrest, assault with a deadly weapon, just, not a good character. So drones are absolutely, two different parts there. You got search and rescue, and you've got public safety. So, there's lots of other use cases, forest fire detection. It just goes on and on.
Wow, what a huge need there is.
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question?
Oh,
how
absolutely.
many people on this call actually were inspired to get involved in drones because of the life-saving aspect?
Yeah.
You want to raise a hand or put it in their chat and say me? Because I was definitely, Mark, that was one of the reasons I saw when I got into drones 7 years ago, I guess it was. I was told a story of search and rescue. Yep, Carolyn. And that was like that's the future. So kudos to you, and what wonderful. Yeah, look at that. See, so many people. Yep, that was their main thing, this is, yep, there we go.
Yeah,
These are the
it's
kind of things that we want to hear about. And so Mark, I just want to ask you a quick question.
sure.
When they do those, are you familiar with the facial recognition drones?
Uh, um, Airborne Works, we have a partner in AI, so we're very familiar with facial recognition.
So can you tell, for my information, like how do they find people with a facial recognition drone?
Well, facial recognition can be any camera. In fact, all of us leave our homes and typically we're on camera at least 3 to 4 times a day. We don't know it.
Wow.
But the camera's got to be close enough to spot the geometric patterns in the face.
Huh.
And, all of us, our eyes are different distances from our nose and our nostrils and our mouths and our ears. So this is what the basis of that AI works off of. Once they know the person or the target person that they're looking for, they can, the software will actually go in and from reasonable distances be able to spot that person from a distance. So that's how that works.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
There's some other soup in the kitchen back there, but it's
right. Yeah, I flew one in Columbus with the sheriff's department, and it was from Lockheed Martin. It was like $100,000 facial recognition.
Were you a little nervous at the sticks on that one, or what?
Yeah, well, it was, the landing gear was like pixie sticks, like that.
Oh.
Maybe the most. I wasn't scared I was going to crash or anything because I know how to fly, but I just didn't like the landing gear on it because it's this big drone and there's these like little pixie sticks coming out of it. So, but I wasn't quite sure how that. I didn't know if people wore a bracelet, if they were a potential problem, like to look for dementia people, like diabetes people do, or so it actually recognizes the face.
Yeah, well, if you're looking for somebody and they're someplace where they shouldn't be on a search and rescue, obviously they're going to stick out like a sore thumb. But finding people in a crowd is just in a whole nother use case for drones.
Right.
One of the reasons we really are focusing on low budget public safety agencies is because we've seen a lot that there's a lot of pushback on the municipalities, the local towns, the town committees that think there's this big privacy issue. And obviously all of us have gone through the FAA tests, know that the FAA is very strict and very, got very rigid about public safety and privacy, right? So once we see some of these use cases come through, our thought process is, we're not going to put an M600 in the hands of a new foundation or a new department, right? It just doesn't make any sense. They need to get some stick time. They need to learn something very inexpensive, something that'll be useful, eyes in the sky. But once they start seeing this happen, they'll be able to fund these and see the value of it. A good example was Garland, Texas. They had bought a brand new dual from Autel. And it was, I think, their first or second mission. They had the Fox Fury lighting kit on it, the Exolander. And there was a flash flood. And I don't know if you saw the story, we posted it all over our social media, because they've come back to us asking us for help to replace that drone. What happened was the commander who was in charge of that entire department wasn't a big believer in drones. But after that flood, they got there and she got stuck on a bridge about 2 o'clock in the morning, called 911. And unfortunately, the waters were so aggressive that 2 minutes after they got there, it swept her off the bridge. So they launched the drone because it's really, you either send men in the water to try to find her or downstream on boats or rafts or whatever with ropes, or you send the drone up. And they sent the drone up, and it proved, they lost the drone because it went into return home mode because of the battery. It clipped a branch and dropped in the water. So they lost the drone. But it proved the point to the commander that this was an extremely valuable asset. Deployment was within 35, 40 seconds of being on site. They were up and looking around under brush and, where the rapid water was. So, that speaks volumes to, changing people's minds. And that's where we think our foundation is going to help, because there's too many people that feel that drones are, one, a toy, Two, they're an invasion of privacy, and they're just looking at it in a certain way. We need to share with them these stories, about what's happening, the good things.
Well, I think Maria put it nicely in the chat. Drones save people's lives. Huge tool for public safety. So we hear it so often that drones are a tool,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is so needed in the public safety realm. So how can people help?
Well, there's a number of ways to help. Obviously, all of us probably shop on Amazon. Many people don't know this, but Amazon has a program called Amazon Smiles. If you were to go on there, you could choose any nonprofit foundation. We would like to have you choose ours if you're not supporting one already. And then 0.5% of everything you buy goes to that. Now imagine a couple 100,000 people doing that. That could really make a huge difference. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it could be a lot. Another way is just, the way I like to think of it is just think of your favorite public safety service person that maybe it's a relative, maybe it's a friend, and just consider buying them a coffee once a week with a donut. And rather than physically give them a donut or coffee, donate money to us, we'll get them a drone, we'll help save lives. Another way is just to make donations. Another thing we do, Desi, is, as you know, and we've partnered with Women in Drones. I'm very excited about this program. We receive drones from the private sector. So if you're a department or you're a private person that has a drone, and let's say you bought your husband a drone, he loved that thing for the first couple of weeks, thing's sitting on the shelf, and he's not using it anymore, donate it to us. If it's got a good camera, good battery, good flight control system, and at least one battery, doesn't have to have a case, doesn't just got to be safe to fly. We'll check it before we donate it, but we'll donate that and repurpose that into a public safety agency. That's another way to help. Any public safety servants out there that have drones that they're considering end of life use, but they still work, let's give us a call. Let's see how we can recycle those in. Not all of the drones that we're going to get, because of the way this technology is changing like at breakneck speed, right? There's new models coming out. Not all of the technology that's sent to us is going to be beneficial for public safety. So that's where Women in Drones comes in, right? We're really excited about this. This is kind of another innovative way that NPS DDP is helping to change people's lives, and with Women in Drones, in that we are going to be able to donate the drones that we receive that do not meet the public safety requirements of safety first, easy, access to parts, things like that. We don't want to fill the landfills with these things. We want to get them off the shelves. We want to get them into use. So we're going to send them to STEM programs that Women in Drones is involved with. And our board was tickled about that opportunity. So that's just another great way you can help us. Obviously, we'd love to have volunteers. If anybody out there has marketing experience, graphics design, email marketing, and you'd like to donate a couple hours a week to us, reach out to me. I can certainly find something for you to do, because currently right now I'm soup cook and bottle washer with some of the other board members that are, we all got careers on the side as well. So, we're donating our time here at this point. So, and of course, monetary donations, just if you want to help us out, we'd love to have. We just got a donation last night, actually, which was nice. So, once the word gets out, our biggest challenge, Desi, is getting the word out about us. We were just at the Granite Defense Summit down in Texas about a month and a half ago, and every single department that we came in contact with had never heard of us. We want to change that. We need to get more pins on the map. We need to get more departments involved, and we're going to be taking live requests at FDIC for drones for departments that do not already have a drone program. I mean, we'll take your request if you already have a drone program, but we want to help the departments that don't have the funding. Not to say that we don't value the departments that have funding. Okay, we do value those very much. They risk their lives just like everyone else, but our goal is to help departments that do not have drone programs get a drone program in place.
So if there's a department that is in need, how do you find them or they find you?
Well, through great interviews like this one that you're allowing us to be on, people are hearing about us. So we hope that everybody on this call looks to be, about 30 something people, talk to other people about what we're doing. If they, somebody who's got a department that is in need, send them to npsddp-ddp.org. And up in the right-hand corner, we put a nice bright orange movable icon that you can click on. The application is very simple. We'd prefer that you give us a 2 to 3 minute video, look into the camera, tell us why you need the drone, how you're going to use a drone, how the drone could have saved a life in the past, how it's going to benefit your community. Tell us your story. And then by virtue of that, you're actually telling your story to the people that would, work with us to fund your drone or your software or whatever it is that you need. So, video speaks louder than the text. So, we'd like to have video requests.
Well, we absolutely love what you are doing. And it looks like there's a lot of people that have just commented in there about how important it is, drones for good. Does anybody have any last minute questions or anything? We are getting towards the bottom of the hour. And so.
Hey, Desi, I just
Yeah.
want to add a couple of things. First of all, thanks, Mark, for coming on and
No problem.
sharing the news. And also in the chat, Desi, I put the link on the Women in Drones website that has the information about the STEM drone donation program.
Yep.
And that's what Mark was referring, that we're partnering with them for this. So if you know of an organization, get that information over to us. We'll share it with Mark and his team. And once they determine what's the best use of the drone, either for education or for public safety, they'll make sure that they get it in the hands of the appropriate organization.
Perfect.
We have three ready to go, Sharon. Just
Great.
Wow.
He's got 3 drones ready to go for education. So jump
For
on
STEM,
that link,
Yeah.
fill it out, submit it, and hopefully you'll be selected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting. Thank you for working with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So someone has asked for your LinkedIn, and so I posted that into the chat as well. So if anybody wants to reach.
Wow, you're really quick. That was fast.
So, yes. And
She is. She's
Douglas
the,
has said, great stories. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, such a need. And I just love what the foundation is doing. It's just.
Yeah, I think once we get the word out, we're going to be well funded and we're going to be able to do so much more. Obviously, we're limited with our staff to be able to meet. There's a lot going on in the background. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And I love the Amazon part, who knew, right? I'm an Amazon shopper.
Nice. Hey, well, Mr. Bezos is giving up 1/2 of 1 penny for every dollar spent. So, thank you, Mr. Bezos, for that.
Every little bit helps, and boy, my shopping can help.
Everybody's can. Yeah.
So, well, do you have any last minute words that you would like to share about the program, about the partnership before we kind of go off into our breakout?
You brought up a good thing that I neglected to talk about: partnerships. If there's any corporations out there, companies that want to associate their brand with the philanthropy that we're doing, let's face it, public safety agencies do not get the kudos that they need or that they deserve. Let me say need or deserve. That's 2 different aspects. But in my opinion, they're right up there with teachers. There's not enough reward for the risk or the effort that's put into it. And the fact that 72% of them are volunteer, just speaks volumes to these people's character. So if you're a company and you want to help support them, and you want to be a part of our brand and association with what we're doing, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about how we could work together. There's so many avenues. And even if you have nothing to do with drones, it doesn't matter. We're actually going to be announcing a major partnership here soon with a company that has nothing to do with drones. And they're going to be funding us on a raffle that we're going to have. And we're going to be announcing that in the next week or so. I'm working with Antonio actually joined our board from Fox Fury Lighting, and he's now part of our board. So him and I are working closely on some big things here, thanks to Antonio. So yeah, that's it. And next time you see a public safety servant, thank them.
Perfect, perfect. Well, we thank you so much for sharing with us, bringing your foundation and doing amazing things. And now we have a way that we can all reach out and help as well. And so we thank you. Thank you for your time. A lot of
No
thank yous
problem.
in our chat there as well. We posted ways to connect
Yep.
as well. So thank you again, Mark. That kind of wraps it up.